Valley Blitz. This is our Coach's Corner section. And today, man, we're real excited because we've got a legend in the house. This guy has been to the top of the game. He's been all the way to the pro level, and now he's back here teaching the youth. Mr. James Dockery, thanks for coming in, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we're real excited, man.
I just want to bring it back to the beginning. I was aware of you when you went to college.
Yeah.
Where did your football journey start? Like, what happened?
Man, there's a lot. Obviously, my uncles, rest in peace, Kevin, Michael Dockery, and Ronald Cochran. They're not here with me right now, but I wish they were because they really set me on this. One of them, Ronald, he played for Indiana. He was an offensive lineman.
Okay.
He's a big dude. That's my mom's brother. And then my dad's brother, Kevin, he played for USC, Mount Sac. We're a Pomona family. So he was a football player as well. They're both businessmen. Their birthdays are November 10th and November 17th. I'm November 9th, so we're Scorpio. So we got a lot of synergy, and neither one of them had boys. And so I was kind of like their guy. And so just hanging around those guys, going on business trips, watching football with them, throwing the ball. They got me into it. And the funny thing is, they wouldn't let me play tackle football. And they passed away. My first uncle passed away when I was in 6th grade, and my second passed away 7th grade summer when I just moved to the desert. And when they kind of passed away, obviously that was hard for me. But it was an opportunity because that summer I went to the Palm Desert Rec Center to play basketball, and I had met a kid in there, Drew Harrell. He's a chiropractor out here, one of my best friends, and he was playing football for the Roadrunners under Coach Woody. Woody Germany. If you're a Valley guy, you know Coach Woody. And he was like, "Man, come to the park if you play football." I'm like, "I know how to play, but my mom won't let me play." So anyway, I went to the practice and I watched them for a second, and Woody was like, "Hey, can you play football?" Like, I'm like, "Yeah, I can play." And I went out there, I did it. He was like, "Oh, yeah, this guy can play." Well, I'm like, "My mom ain't gonna let me play, so we got to see." So he talked to my mom, bought me some football cleats, and I came back probably 2-3 days later, and I did training camp Hell Week with them. I was the last one to sign up. I was number 78 running back for the Roadrunners, and that's really got started. So I always have been trained as a football player, but my uncles were strict about tackle. And so, when they passed away and me and my mom moved out here, it's kind of like, oh, no dad around, no uncles around. I'm about to play tackle, and that's what we've been doing ever since.
Wow. So you started at what age?
8th grade. I had always been playing. I always had hands. I'd always had the jukes and all that stuff, but I didn't play tackle until 8th grade.
Wow. Yeah. So you were a little late to the game in terms of getting the helmet and the shoulder pads
Definitely.
On, which, ultimately didn't matter. But
a little bit, because learning how to tackle, like a lot of my friends were better tacklers than me. I didn't really learn how to tackle, I think, until probably junior, senior year. Like I was willing to tackle, but learning how to actually get guys down that are bigger than you.
Right.
I saw that a lot of my friends that had played earlier in life, they were a little bit better at that. So, you got to have the heart to do it, which I had that, but the skill to do it, it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, I coach the youth right now. I tell parents it takes at least a year.
Yep.
At least a year to learn how to. It's not normal to run full speed into another human being.
Exactly.
You got to learn. You got to train your mind to do that.
No
Especially
doubt.
when they're a little bigger than you.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get rid of that fear factor. But that's awesome. So when you got to high school, tell us a little bit. I know you had a little journey through high school.
Yeah.
You started with the Roadrunners. How did that high school journey go?
It went pretty good. We're from Pomona, so when we moved out here in 8th grade, we didn't really know about any of the desert history or tradition. When my mom moved out here, we actually moved to Cat City and then DHS. And so my mom was looking for which are the high schools out here that can, really support me both academically and athletically. Because one thing about my mom, and she's got a whole story that she could tell on a podcast, but, as tough as we were growing up, he's like, the homework's got to be done. Like, if you're not doing the homework, you're not getting it done, like, you're not going to practice, like, no matter what they had going on, So she immediately looked at the best high schools out here for academics and basketball. I was a hooper. I'm a skinny dude. You guys know that. And so I was hooping mainly. And so that year, Palm Desert High School in 2002, they went to the CIF championship. They lost, and then they went like 2nd or 3rd round in state for basketball. So with my favorite sport being basketball, she was like, "Oh, I think Palm Desert is where I'm going to send you." I already was going to Palm Desert Charter Middle School, and so Coach Brady, I don't know if this is breaking rules or not, but Coach Brady popped up at a PE class one day. And it was like, "Hey, I heard you might be going to La Quinta or Palm Springs," and we didn't really know, where we were going. And but after that, it takes a little bit of attention from a coach sometimes. And once I saw him come see me in 8th grade, I don't even know this guy. And I'm like, "Man, I think, Mom, that's good. You're thinking Palm Desert. I think that's where I want to go." And then when I got there, I wasn't really thinking about football, but you know, Coach Blackburn's a great recruiter. He's going to recruit his campus. And so when I got on campus, Blackburn got his hooks in me, and I think it was a great decision.
Yeah. So going from the Roadrunners to that program, how long did it really take you before you started because I remember you when you were playing, I was coaching, I was a young coach, and by your senior year you were already a D1 guy. So how did that go from not really willing to tackle? How long did it take you before you started getting noticed on that side? Because I know you were initially a hooper, right?
Yeah, I was. And I think like basketball always gave me great ball skills. Like if you're, you know, first off, if you're a point guard, you should be able to defend somebody as a corner press coverage. You know, that's no different than really getting up in a guard, you know, getting up in his stuff and, you know, really competing. As far as like going up for rebounds, I was a guard that liked the rebound. That's high pointing the football and you know, high pointing the basketball is the same thing as going up to get it in football. So I think those traits from basketball really carried over. A lot of basketball players will be great NFL players, are great D1 players. It's just a matter of the toughness, right? And so I think playing basketball really prepared me. And I grew up hard, man. So I already was tough. You know, I had, you know, tough cousins and tough sister, rest in peace. So that part of it was easy for me. And then, you know, going into Palm Desert High School, having Coach Blackburn and those guys, it took me a little bit to get adjusting to it. But, you know, when you're an athlete, it kind of comes a little natural, a little quickly. You know, but I was thankful that like I fell into the right spot with Coach Brady, Coach Blackburn. I couldn't have asked for a better, you know, two coaches to have in high school because they really developed me.
Yeah, Blackburn's a great guy, man. He's a good coach. Jump in. So your junior, senior year, you're like, I got a shot to go D1. It's the offers started coming in.
Yeah.
What was it like when you got to college? Like, what was it? Like when you go to college, it's like a business, man. It's like high school football's fun, and then you get to college, and all of a sudden you're like, dang, this is like a job. Was it easy for you at first, or how did you navigate that?
Man, honestly, I think it really comes down to just the preparation that I had. You know, I didn't really think about going D1 in football until probably the end of my sophomore year. I was really, you know, focused on basketball. That was my thing. I really wanted to play point guard. And I just remember one day Coach Blackburn called me into the office and he was like, you know, you want to be a 6'2" point guard or you want to be a 6'2" receiver DB that can do what you can do? And at that time, I didn't, you know, I was young. I was probably like 14, 15 when he told me that. And I started to think about it like, yeah, how many of, you know, my favorite basketball players are 6'2"? Okay, Allen Iverson, he's 6 foot. Like, I'm barely taller than him, but he's got a 42-inch vert. This guy's a freak. Like, then I was like, okay, Keyshawn Johnson, he's a little bit taller than me, you know, but how many corners do I like that are my height? Charles Woodson, that's only one. So I started really putting that together, and I realized, like, man, if I play football as 6'2" as a receiver or a DB, that is different than being a 6'2" point guard. So once I had that conversation with Blackburn, and then I realized, like, okay, I'm at the right school academically too. I think at that point, I really started focusing on football. And I think I got my first offer. Blackburn can verify this or not. I think I got my first offer sophomore year. I think it was San Diego State or UTEP. I remember my first letter was Nebraska. And funny how, like, my freshman year, Joe Johnson was there. And shout out to Joe Johnson. Me and him are going back and forth because he doesn't like his ranking on this top 100. But anyway, like his whole room,
a lot of people complaining.
Yeah, his whole room was like full of letters at his house, right? And I went over there and I'm like, damn, this dude got all these letters. Like, I got to get that. And he was already at my school, thank God, because that was my motivation right there. So, you know, after I got my first offer sophomore year, and Blackburn's like, hey, you can get a lot more of these if you take care of business in the classroom and keep doing what you're doing. So, answer your question, you know, going to college, it is a full-time job. It's 60 hours a week. But that routine is something that employers look for. You guys know, you guys are business guys. So student athletes, they can work under pressure. They can work well with others. They know time management. They know discipline. And so I'm just so thankful that I had that journey.
Yeah. How did you choose the college though? I mean, you had all these choices, right? I mean, what was the deciding factor? You know, I always wonder, like, was it the trip? Was it the party you went to?
I don't know. I was telling some guys about this yesterday.
Some girls you met over there. Like, what was the ultimate deciding factor for you?
It was a little things. I was getting recruited by like Washington, Nebraska, Oregon. I liked Oregon. It sounded like, but it was like a little too business-like for me. As a business guy, that sounds crazy now. But my godmom, who I was living with in high school, she's from Eugene, Oregon, so she was all about the Duck. She knows people there, the coaches. She wanted me to be a Duck, but they were just kind of recruiting from like a business standpoint. where Oregon State was recruiting from a family standpoint. And Coach Riley had been there for a while, and I just felt like I didn't want to go to a college and then the coach leaves and then I have to, like, Riley is a legend in Corvallis. So, like, he was like Joe Pa. I felt like Riley would have still been there even today, right? And so I just had a feeling that he would be there with the guys that were recruiting me. And so they were super family oriented, and that really helped. Blackburn coached with my D coordinator at Oregon State at Northridge, so we had that little connection as well. And then when I went up there, I was 16 years old, and on a Halloween weekend in Corvallis, and anybody that is familiar with Oregon State, they know about Halloween weekend in Corvallis. It's a sight. And so I was up there a little younger than I needed to be. And, I come home the next week. I said, Coach, cancel the Washington trip. I think I'm going to Oregon State.
Wow, just like that, huh?
Yeah.
Didn't even take your final trip, huh?
No, I didn't take my final trips. I knew it. Coach Banker, Coach Riley, the Oregon State staff, and USC was dominating at the time. And I didn't really want to go to the Pac-12 because I felt like USC would just always win the league title.
Right.
And if I wasn't going to get recruited by SC, shout out to Pete Carroll for the motivation, I just felt like I wanted to go to who can compete against them. And that year, Oregon State, they were right there head and head with USC, and Reggie Bush took a punt return to the house. So I was like, okay, if I'm going to go anywhere in the pack, I want to go with whoever has the best jerseys and whoever is competitive with SC.
Yeah. And they were close that year.
Yep.
They were close for a couple of years.
I agree.
You were up there.
And then we beat them 3 out of 5 years when I was there.
Wow,
so,
nice. Well, there you go, man. You give a little revenge to USC for not recruiting you. Huh? Well, that's awesome, man. So you had a great, obviously a great high school career. You're like, all state, all CIF. College, it gets to be business, right?
Yeah.
When did you kind of feel like, because, you made it to the highest level. So when did you kind of feel in college that hey, maybe I can make a profession out of this? I don't, when you get there, you're kind of like a fish out of water for those first couple of years. When did you finally feel comfortable to make that push? Man,
that's a great question. I think it's always been kind of wired differently. Like, those of you guys that know me personally, they just know how competitive I am, man. Like, it's almost a gift and a curse because, the competitiveness has gotten me to where I'm at, but it's also created some roadblocks too, just because, I love to, I hate losing more than I love to win. Like, winning is cool, but I can't stand losing, So, and that, even when I lost at the Mount Sac relays, like in 1996 or something, I was crying. And my mom was like, if you're going to cry every time you lose, like, like, that's not a good habit. But I would just hate losing so bad. And so when I got to Oregon State, my friends that did not go pro, but my classmates, they would always say, like, Doc, man, you came in here thinking, like, I'm going to the league. And they always just say, like, I don't even know if I believed it myself, but I just felt like, I got to speak it into existence. Like, if you're not thinking that, like, why are we here? I'm not here just for the education. Like, but I'm here to try to make this money. Like, I want to change my life. And so I always knew that I needed football to change my life, just, socioeconomically. And so I was just locked in, from day one. I was just always locked in and competitive. And so, Blackburn would always tell me, like, you got to dominate where you live. You got to dominate your team. You got to be the best person on your team before you can even look at UCLA or Cal Berkeley. So I just really went into training camp trying to get my feet wet. And I think that once I got up there and I knew, like, oh, I'm a little weird. Like, most guys are not as competitive as me. And so once I knew that about people, then it was just like, you smell blood in the water.
Wow.
Then it was like, okay, you guys don't really want it like I do. Like, I'm coming from a different spot. And so, just that competitiveness and one-on-ones and drills and stuff, always trying to win, it just led to just having successful traits, So I would just tell kids, hey, just concentrate being on the best, like, be the best DL player. Be the best in Southern California, be the best in San Bernardino, be the best in the IE. Just focus on, like, being the best where you're at. And if you can keep doing that, you're going to be successful.
Yeah. Looking to upgrade your home? Tile Designs by Fina is your one-stop destination for beautiful flooring, hard surfaces, and countertops. From timeless design, modern styles, they've got the perfect look for every room. Stop by today and transform your space with Tile Designs by Fina. Let's design together. Tired of payroll headaches? iPay Solutions is your local payroll and HR partner right here in the Coachella Valley. From direct deposits to compliance, we handle the details so you can focus on growing your business. iPay Solutions, local, reliable, and built for your success.
Got dirty carpets, tile, or furniture? Trust the Carpet and Tile Care Company, your family-run experts. We bring sparkle back to your home with top-notch cleaning services, reliable, affordable, and eco-friendly. Call us today. We can be reached at carpetcarrot.co. Phone number 760-773-5882. I like that.
Keep trending upward, right?
Speak it into existence.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. And some people call that cocky
No.
in high school or overconfident, but I was using that as a defense mechanism too, because like I went to Palm Desert and I wasn't really like those kids. Like, no disrespect to any Palm Desert families, but
we get it.
They're living good.
Yeah.
A lot, my friends,
Gated
I kind of,
kids,
I hung out with the friends that were kind of like me. But I was, shout out to, Mr. Heckman, Dick Heckman, rest in peace, because, he was somebody that was so successful business wise. And I was really good friends with his daughter. And I was able to see like, man, this is a whole nother side of this life. And if I want to get there, like I may not be able to get there through business right now, but this ball is going to help me get closer. And so that was able to like motivate me. And so I'm thankful to go to Palm Desert High School, because seeing that other side of the world really motivated me to just put my head down and grind.
And it prepared you for the future.
Yeah.
Prepared you for what was coming after football.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. So what side coaching? When did that pop up? Like
coaching, man. Coaching. I got done playing football. I signed with the Raiders because, my wife is from Portland.
Raiders.
I'm from SoCal. And so I wanted to, being out on the East Coast for the Browns and the Panthers, I was like, man, I got to get back to the West Coast, either the Chargers or Raiders. So Chargers were talking to me, but we couldn't work out the numbers. And Oakland gave me an opportunity to come out there. And I was like, man, I got to go. Hindsight is always 20/20, right? Because I had a great organization with the Panthers. Probably should have just tried to stay there. Raiders, I like the Raiders. My family likes the Raiders, but organizationally, right now, I love them. Chip Kelly, Pete Carroll, like I would sign up for them any day right now. But at that time, it was just tough. It's tough. So anyway, I come back there. It didn't work out there. And by the time I left training camp with the Raiders, and after being on the team for almost under a year, I was just burnt out. And so,
how long have you been in the league at this point? A couple of years,
about 4.5 years. Yeah,
so
almost going on year 5.
You've already gone over the average already.
Yeah,
right?
so I was just like, had saved my money, had been smart. I'm like, I don't really need to play. Sure, I would love millions, but like,
was your body kind of telling you?
I had 3 surgeries the year before with Carolina, my hand, both shoulders. So I was just kind of getting to that point, like, we'll see.
Yeah.
I had some business ideas in my mind, and anyway, so we went back to Portland after that didn't work out. And I was working as a financial advisor because I really wanted to help athletes, manage their money. A big thing about athletes, going broke, I would love to say, and I do have money from the NFL still, not as much as I did, but but I'm not bankrupt. So I'm proud of that. It's something that really I take pride in, so I wanted to help other guys do the same thing. But when I was in those financial offices, like I would just be drawing plays, man. I'm on the Colin Hurd podcast. I'm doing fantasy football. And I was making money and doing that thing too. But I was like, I got to coach. And one of the Oregon State alumni out there, Coach Atkinson, he was coaching at Westview High School. Westview High School is like where most of the Nike execs, their kids go to and all that. They're a good public school. And I went and coached there on the defensive side that year. And we went from being like a team that was like kind of good to being number 3 in the state.
All right.
And I was on the defensive side helping out with the defensive passing game and defensive coordinating, things like that. And I was like, hey, I'm getting the same intensity, that same, a kid get a big hit to get a pick. And I'm like, oh, this feels like something. And so, as fate would have it, a couple months later, my wife got pregnant. And I was thinking like, man, I got money in the bank account, but I can't buy a house because the career I'm in right now, I can't prove the income, blah, blah, blah. I want to buy a house. I want my kids to have a stable foundation. And Coach Blackburn hit me up like, hey, there's this school, Xavier, they're hiring a football coach and an athletic director. And me and Blackburn had these conversations in life. Like, what do you want to do besides football? Blackburn always asked me, like, what are you going to do when you're done? He would always ask me this stuff. So we already had that plan, like, all right, athletic director. And so that had an opportunity to work with Mark Campbell, who's the president now. And so it was an alignment, football, athletic directing. And then I wanted to teach kids about business. And so Xavier had that opportunity for me. And I didn't think I was going to get the job. Honestly, I was 27. I was like, let me just do it. And then lucky enough, they were crazy enough to hire me, and here we are.
So that's how you ended up back in the desert, huh?
Yeah.
It's coming down here. Now, did Xavier even exist when you played?
No, they opened up the year after I left.
Wow, so they didn't even exist. You had no idea what this school.
No idea. Honestly, no idea.
History of this school.
No idea.
I mean, but I remember when you took it over. I mean, they were kind of a middle of the pack kind of team. They'd have some. They were just too small. Their roster was too small, and I think you coming in with that vision and I seen what you've done with the program, man.
Appreciate it.
Over the years. I mean, you guys have top line talent. I mean, there's no like when you line up with your ones, you can compete with anybody.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I mean, it's a shout out to what you're doing, man.
Appreciate
It's a good job of building. So when you get over to Xavier and you look at the surroundings, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like you had to turn it around, but you had to build it actually, right? You kind of had to build a foundation for your
a little
own
bit.
self, right?
You know, Coach Lewis, the first coach there, did a great job. He's still our strength coach.
Daryl, he's awesome, man.
When we first started off, we were butting heads a little bit, but he's so passionate, and so am I. He's an alpha. He's a dog, you know. So sometimes you get two dogs in a room, you know, they're gonna bite, you know.
Right.
And but man, that's my teammate right now. You know, he's there with my guys every day at the weight room. I'm blessed to be able to pick up my kids from school, take them to practice, jiu-jitsu, golf, whatever it is, because I know after school when my guys go in the weight room with Coach Lewis, they're locked in.
Yeah.
You know, and he's gonna hold them to that standard. So he did a great job getting this, you know, no lights, no field. I mean, the stories that Coach Lewis talks about.
He's the godfather of that program,
you know,
man. I always tell him, man, you started with nothing over there. Man.
Shout out to him, because it wouldn't be a program without him. Coach Bob Moyet did a good job. He had a little bit more than Coach Lewis, and I've had a little bit more than Coach Moyet. Then the next coach, whenever that time comes, probably gonna have a little bit more than me.
Right.
But we just try to leave it in a better place. And so, I mean, we have some good players there. We've hit the ground hard. My coaching staff, we've been the same since, 9 years. A lot of loyalty on my staff.
That's important.
A lot of creativity on our staff. And, man, I'm blessed. It's been a heck of a 9-year run, because it's a hard job. It's a hard job, but it's a great job.
Has it already been 9 years?
Yeah, this is year number 9.
Wow, man.
I think after this last win, not that I'm counting, but I think we just got to 500.
There you go.
And we're proud of that. We got 2 ties and we're 500.
Awesome, man.
It's hard, man. Our schedule that we've gone against, we've never shied down. I mean, you guys can go back and check, we play Aquinas every year. We got Palm
Aquinas
Desert in
is
our
tough.
league. We've had Salesian. We've had St. Pius. I mean, we've lined it up with anybody, and we weren't ready to line it up. But I knew, like, if I want real football families to come here, hey, we're not going to play a cupcake schedule. We're going to play real teams, so you know what we're doing.
You got to, right?
Yep.
And you got to do that to get the best guys.
That's right.
You got to play against the best. So
no doubt.
Shout out to you guys, man. You guys are doing. I've seen what you've done with that program, and it's been a big transformation since you got there. Daryl kind of set you up, and you kind of finished the job, man. So.
Still getting there.
Yeah, you're still getting there, but you're getting close.
Yep.
I think you got a good core of players that can make a run, man. We're getting kind of close to time, but we always want to ask our coaches, to the young guys that maybe want to getting out of playing the game and maybe thinking about getting into coaching, which we know is not an easy thing to do. What advice would you have to a young guy that maybe is thinking about getting the coaching profession?
Hey, don't be afraid to ask for help. When I took this job over, I wanted to make sure I had young coaches. No disrespect to anybody that got some gray hair, because I got a few up here now. But I wanted some guys with some energy. Like, my first criteria was like no wives, no kids.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I just want people that, like, all you care about is football.
All football.
So the first 2 guys that popped up, Michael Carls.
Yeah.
Carls. Shout out to Carls. He just got engaged this weekend. But when I first met with him at JT's, man, this dude, he didn't care nothing. He's just a football junkie. And so I wanted that. Then Taylor Pope had just graduated college. I'm like, you ain't got no job yet? Like, what's up? Like, let me try to get you on campus. Let me get you. I wanted local guys that resonate in the living rooms. One guy from the East Valley, one guy from the West Valley. I want to be able to go in those neighborhoods. We want to take kids from those powerhouses, and we want them to come here. And so I started with those guys, Pope and Carls, and then my best friend, Nick Exalis, who top 100 player, all those guys. We have 4 coaches that are on the top 100. And but those guys were willing to reach out and humble themselves. Like, they weren't necessarily trying to be a coordinator or trying to be the head coach. They just wanted a chance,
Right.
And as they took that chance, they got better and better. And like, Carls has been a coordinator. Pope has been a coordinator. Pope has gone to UW and coached in a natty. And now they come back, and, Pope is, taking over the offensive coordinator, and Carls is the JV head coach, and, they're still brothers. And so we've been able to, I've been lucky. I wouldn't be here winning these games without the staff that I have. So I would just say any guys that are out there, don't be afraid to reach out, humble yourself, ask for help. And if a coach tells you, hey, man, I need you to be like D-line coach for JV, don't think you need to be D-line coach for varsity.
Right.
Just show up to JV and show him that you're great. Break down the film. And when we have your meetings with the coaches, give him something that he goes like, oh, damn, you've been watching tape.
Right.
You found that it. Because one thing about Carls and Pope, and like, when we get to our Sunday meetings, especially when they were younger, like, they're finding things like, hey, this, and then when we do it in the game, it works. So if you want to move up in the ranks as a young coach, do whatever they say at first, and then give those head coaches those nuggets, so they go like, okay, I know this guy, he's putting that work in.
Right. And
That's
the cream
awesome.
will rise to the top, right?
No doubt.
Because I've seen it in my career. You same thing, you kind of just
And
work
don't
your
bounce
way
around.
up,
And don't bounce around.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to be loyal to a program and stay there and grow and climb the ranks. Because I see a lot of times, like, A lot of coaches have like every polo from the Valley, and that's not for me.
Yeah.
You know, our guys that have been with me, like we got a polo.
Yeah.
You know, that's that black and gold right now.
That's right.
You know, and you know, hopefully it stays that way forever. It may change one day, but it's not now. You know?
Stay. Loyalty goes a long way in this business.
It does.
Knowing the chain of command and loyalty you can definitely work your way up.
And I learned that from Blackburn, man. So straight up.
So that's a good little nugget. So you've been to the top of the game, right? You've been to the NFL. So now that we have an NFL guy in here, we get to ask this question. So the young players out there now, young players that are thinking, hey, you know, I want to do like Dockery and get to the NFL. I'm from the Coachella Valley. What advice would you give those kids that are thinking, hey, I can do it if you know, I think I can do it too. What advice would you give them, these young bucks coming up that maybe have that dream?
Man, I'm hesitant on that. Even Coach JB knows I don't like talking about the NFL too much because it's one, NFL stands for not for long.
Absolutely.
Two, there's so many more professions you can do in life that can make you a great husband, citizen, all that stuff. But yes, if you're a diehard football player and you want to make it to the league, man, you just got to be a coachable guy. I mean, like, it's hard to say what the recipe is. Some of that is genetics, you know, but my dad is 5'8", my mom's 5'8", but like people in my family are top athletes, so I got the genes. But man, competitiveness, academics, you got to be eligible and beyond eligible. You got to, like, shout out to Jeremiah Johnson, like guys like that, you know, 4.2, Rancho Mirage getting offers because one, he's a great athlete, but also his academics. So how to get to the league, man. It's hard, man. It's a really hard question because it's so hard. Like you got to just be a dog.
The numbers are against you, right?
Yeah.
The numbers are against you. It's not for long, like you said. If you're going into coaching, you have a long-term plan.
Yeah, but again, just dominate where you're at.
Yeah, I love that.
Like Blackburn never let me come off the field. Like I always say, it was like child abuse. Like he probably get mad, but it's like, nah, I'm playing, and that's why, you know, top 100. It's like, look, man, I never came off the field as a special teamer.
Yeah,
I never came off the field on defense or offense. Ask my mom, my godmom. I'm cramping up all throughout the night, all those long nights, sacrifice, no parties, no this. Like you know, like it's a grind. Like if you really want to go to like top 1%. You got to be willing to do what nobody else is willing to do. And luckily, I grew up in Pomona, California. Luckily, I grew up a little differently because that motivation from that experience, like I didn't need motivation from a parent. I didn't need motivation from like my coach. Like it was already in me. So if you are growing up like a little better, 2-parent household, nice garage, if you are growing up, even if you live a little harder out here in the Valley, if you know, you got to like be willing to sacrifice. Like, you got to be willing to sacrifice social media. You got to be willing to sacrifice the late nights of going out. You got to eat. You got to sleep. You got to work out. You got to grind. You got to watch tape. You got to get bigger, stronger, faster every single year. And so, I mean, it is a lifetime of commitment.
Yeah. So hear that, young players? Hey, you start now, man. Start building those habits now from a guy that's been to the top of the food chain. That's what it's gonna take. Well, Coach, man, you're a legend.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in, man. We've been blessed to have you.
Yep.
A lot of good tidbits on this episode, man. So if you guys found some value in that, you know the routine. Like, subscribe, and follow. And we'll see you next time on Desert Valley Blitz.